Good morning, and thank you, Monique. And I want to especially thank our branch managers for the really riveting words that they brought to us of what's been happening in those communities. It's very telling both of the Jamaican spirit, but it's also very telling of the connection that our managers across Jamaica have with the communities that we're working in. It's something that I'm very, very proud of across our network. So, but let me welcome the members of the press. I want to recognize again Harold Spalding from RADA, who is here, Jeffrey McKitty, President of the St. Mary Chamber of Commerce, Claudia McLean, Principal of Norwich Primary School in Portland. You know, Hurricane Sandy started out as often they do. We saw depression, we saw a tropical storm develop, and as we do, we look and see that it's heading in our direction. We know we need to prepare. We didn't get as much warning as we sometimes do, but we had time to prepare for it. It soon became apparent it was going to come directly across us, and that it was going to reach hurricane status before it got to us. Fortunately, it was only a Category 1 when it reached Jamaica. Like all Jamaicans, we came out after Hurricane Sandy, and we had mixed emotions. On one hand, we must be thankful that the damage was not worse. We need only look at the extent of damage in the northeast U.S., in an area that has huge infrastructure and resources to respond. And we've got to be fortunate that we didn't have the storm surge that they did that would have blown across a lot of the south coast and caused even more damage. We must also recognize that we fared better in terms of loss of life than some of our neighbors in Cuba and Haiti and in some other areas, so we must give thanks for those blessings. However, as we learned of the damage, especially in St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Mary, we felt dismay. The images of the damage to infrastructure, of the people that were stranded in those 3 parishes were especially heart-wrenching. It was with sadness as well that we learned of the damage across Jamaica in the agricultural sector. And that's a sector that's been doing increasingly well the last couple of years, one that has stood out as part of our economy that's been growing and really impacting a lot of lives, which makes it especially difficult for us to see the impact in the fact that it's seriously set back. All of the damage is especially challenging today given the difficult economic situation that Jamaica is in. Jamaica's government has very few spare resources to support the rebuilding and the rehabilitation of the damaged sectors. At a time like this, when those most in need around us are suffering, as a country, we don't have the money to help that we should, or that we would like to. So following the storm, our first priority at Scotiabank was to assess the impact of the hurricane on our staff and our customers. Now fortunately, all of our staff are physically fine, and other than a few that have had damage to their homes, we have fared well, and for that we must consider ourselves blessed. We were able to open all but 2 of our branches the day after the storm in order that we could respond to customers, because we were particularly concerned given it was payday for a lot of people, and a lot of people were counting on that time to have the money to get through the end of the month. We were particularly concerned and want to recognize our branch staff, the branch managers that got out when they didn't have power at home and made sure that the generators were on in the branches, that we were able to open, that we were able to service customers who were worried whether they were going to be able to have the resources to get them through a weekend after a storm when they especially were going to need that support. And I want to particularly recognize the people in our centralized processing support area. We had people that were out the morning of the storm, keying payrolls from government departments and from major employers that said, please, we'll get these lists to you early. Can you please get the money into people's accounts in case you can't open the branches? They'll at least be able to go to ATMs and get cash out. And we had people who risked their personal safety to be out on that Wednesday morning, key payrolls to ensure that our customers would be able to be okay later in the week. But next, our branch managers went into their communities, checking on their schools and their clients, their neighbors in the communities, as you've heard today from our branch managers. Our foundation was out speaking to our partners, and we operate with partnerships across industry sectors, across the country, to get a clear indication of where the most need was. One of the greatest lessons we've learned from this storm is that climate change is a real threat. We all know that hurricanes will come, and everyone, policymakers, business owners, and families, we need to be planning to ensure, recognizing the fact that these things will happen and making sure that we're prepared. It's been heart-wrenching to see the children dislocated from schools and homes that have been so badly damaged, lives dismantled because homes and prized possessions have been lost, and our food security further at risk because millions of pounds and dollars of food have been wiped out. Ladies and gentlemen, we will rise out of this because we have to and because we always do, but we will face this same challenge in future years. And we need to make sure as a country, all of us together are planning to ensure that we aren't in this situation as well. And while the experts monitor the fast-changing characteristics and impact of climate change, there are things that we can do as individuals to mitigate the risks we know of and the best practices that we've observed. We need to watch as a country where we build our homes. We need to ensure that we're following the right farming practices, and RADA is there to help our farmers. We need to make sure that waste disposal, recycling practices, so that storm runoffs are free and we're able to minimize the impact that way. We need to be protecting our forests and our coastlines. While we may not be able to control all the forces of nature, we can control how we treat our environment. And because of the negative results are going to have far-reaching impact on us, we need to be aware of that. Now, Hurricane Sandy also highlights the urgent need to restore the health of the Jamaican economy. We must make the structural adjustments that are necessary to put Jamaica on a path to sustained economic growth, because it's only that sustained economic growth that's going to ensure, as a country, as a government, there's going to be money to respond to these things, to help to those people that are most in need. Yes, we've got to rely upon organizations like Scotiabank and other large private sector organizations and the NGOs, but the country as well needs to be, through the government, coming to the assistance. And it's not due to a lack of will, it's due to a lack of resources, and it's only by making the structural changes that are needed to grow the economy that we're going to be in a position to do that. As we as a nation wrestle with these big issues, at Scotiabank we've looked at how we can best support. And you look at what we have to support with, and there's two primary things. I mean, obviously we have money as a large organization, as a financial institution, but we also have our people. One of the largest core of volunteers in the country are Scotiabank volunteers. So at this time, we're able to assist in a number of ways. Number one, we're going to be underwriting the cost to repair 5 schools in St. Mary and 1 in Portland. We in our CSR efforts in our foundation, we work heavily in partnerships. And we're partnering with the Ministry of Education to identify where they feel the greatest needs are. And we've taken those greatest needs and we are underwriting the cost to repair those 6 schools. We also have been partnering with RADA over the last few years and looking at how we can provide assistance to the agricultural industry. And we'll be assisting dozens of small farmers across our entire branch network in consultation with RADA to help them resuscitate their farms, to ensure that they've got some extra resources to rebuild their lives and help support the agricultural sector. Another one of our great partners is the Salvation Army, and we're speaking to them because they do so much work to help restore dignity and support families and individuals that most need it. The Salvation Army have indicated to us that they have an urgent need for mattresses to get out to people who've been most affected. So we will be working with them and providing 100 mattresses that will be able to immediately get out to people most in need. And we'll also be supporting projects across Jamaica with our many other partners, with our core of Scotia volunteers, a core of over 1,000 Scotiabankers who've committed that we can call on them when our partners, the NGOs and the community organizations, come to Scotiabank needing help. We've also activated a special fund of $500 million, which will be available between now and the end of the year at significantly reduced rates between 9.75% and 11.75% under specific special conditions to help homeowners and businesses among our existing customers to recover from the storm. The program is to fund expenditures arising out of damage, to do repairs, to do replacements, rehabilitation, acquisition or replacement of equipment that's been damaged, replanting, resuscitation of crops, repairing roofs or damage to homes or small businesses across Jamaica. And more details on the specifics of that program will obviously be made available after this. The funding that we're providing is between 4 and 7 or 8% below what otherwise would be available to those industries, and we hope will have a major impact in helping those people, our partners, our clients that have been with us for so long, and be so supportive of us to help them recover those that are most need. As everyone knows, as we always say, we've been in Jamaica over 123 years. We are committed to Jamaica unlike any other institution. We will continue to do everything that we can to ensure that our customers, the community, are getting the support and the assistance that they need. We understand that tenacious spirit of Jamaicans in all sectors and their determination to rebuild, their determination to succeed. Our success as an organization is because of that spirit and the way that we have partnered, that spirit in our clients, that spirit in our partners, that spirit in our employees and our staff to ensure that Jamaica's succeeding, that they individually are succeeding, and that we as an organization are therefore able to succeed. We understand the important role we play. We believe that we've been able to put together a program that will support all of our key stakeholders to succeed and recover. We thank God that we have missed the worst of what could have been a horrendous experience and remain committed to ensuring that we all can move forward and make this country a great place. Thank you very much. God bless.